Hello, so welcome to this new video series called Quick Tips, where I'll be sharing tips and tricks that I've used to get quick and great results. So in the first episode of this series, I'll be showing you how you can get a realistic looking object running in Spark AR. If you don't know what Spark AR is, it's a really fun application developed by Facebook to create AR filters for use in Instagram and Facebook. Right now it's for free to the public, so I recommend you to dive in and check it out. Anyway, let's get started with the video. Alright, so this is the scene that I've set up in Cinema 4D, and it's just a model that I've imported from Quixel Megascans, and it looks exactly like this. And I've gone ahead and cloned them a couple of times around the main one. Now I'll be using something called as a texture baking for this quick tip. Now what that does is that if I just go ahead and render this out as it is with the lights enabled, you can see that we get these nice shadows, the highlights over here, and as well as on the back. So what we'll be doing is that we'll be rendering those light informations and projecting it into our texture over here. So this is the texture that comes with the banana, and it's just a color texture. So what texture baking is going to do is it's going to apply all those shadows, the nice ambient occlusion details, everything onto the texture itself. So to do that, we have to set a couple of things. We have 3 lights over here. It's a 3-point light system. Pretty simple to set up. And over here in the render settings, I've set it to physical, and everything is left at default. I haven't done nothing much except change the sampler to progressive. And over here in the effects, we have to make sure we enable ambient occlusion and as well as global illumination. That should be it for the render part, the settings part. As it goes for the materials, it's nothing much. Quixel Megascans automatically sets this up for you if you import it. If not, you can. It's a pretty simple material actually. It's just a color channel with a texture, and I've set subsurface scattering the luminance, and I've enabled normals. Now it's important to disable the reflection. So you can see that with the reflection you get a pretty nice highlights, but while doing the texture baking, it's important to disable all reflection channels on the materials if you have any, because we'll be applying them later in Spark AR so that we get better interactivity with the lights. So I've disabled that, and the same goes with here. It's just a color channel, subsurface scattering channel over here in the luminance, as well as the normal map. So that's pretty much it. Nothing major over here happening. And the next thing that we'll be doing is baking the texture. So let me just bake the texture for this one, the big one. So I'll enable this to get shadows and whatnot. So what I'll do is I'll right click on the object, go to Cinema 4D tags, and there's a tag called bake texture. With this, we have a couple of options. So we have file name. So let's choose a file name. I'll save this as a banana big, and I'll choose the format as PNG, and the width and the height I'll type it as 1K resolution for now, so that we can get this tutorial quickly done. Now super sampling is something like anti-aliasing to get smoother textures, but I'll leave it at 0 for now to get a quicker result. And the pixel border I'll just type in 20 and enable continue UVs. So what that is going to do is if we just take a look at the UV editor over here, and we set the pixel border to 20. So what that's going to do is it's going to be baking the texture 20 pixels outwards from each shell, so that we don't get any bake errors basically. So that's going to keep us on the safer side. And over here in the background, I'll change it to black. So over here we have a couple of channels that we can render out, and the only thing that we are interested in is the surface color. So the surface color is going to be storing all the nice shadows, the details, the global illumination, everything basically. So you can see that it's looking pretty natural and very realistic also in the renderer over here. And the surface color is going to be storing everything that we see in the render. So let's go ahead and press bake, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so the baking has been done, and if I just go ahead and open this up, you can see that we get a really nice gradient over here going on with the lights, as well as we get the shadows and ambient occlusions everywhere where the smaller bananas are. So it's looking pretty great, in fact. Now let's go ahead and do the same over for the small bananas. So what we can do is we can just drag and drop that over to here, and just make sure to change the file name. So I'll name this as small, and also we have to change the pixel border size. So the reason why is that right now it's set to 20, the pixel border size is set to 20. Now that's kind of huge compared to what we have over here in the UV layout. So there's the UV layout for the smaller bananas. As you can see that the gaps between them, between each islands are really small. So let's go ahead and reduce this to, let's say, 4, something less. And let's go ahead and bake that. All right, so the bake is done, and you can see that it's looking pretty nice also with all the gradients. So that's done in the Cinema 4D part. What we can do now is that we can just select these and export them. So let's go ahead and click on export OBJ, and I'll type in banana, and we'll basically leave everything at default and press OK. Alright, so we are in Spark AR right now, and let's go ahead and import the asset that we exported. So click on add asset and import from computer, and click on the banana model that we just exported from Cinema 4D. Alright, so we can see that it imported some materials as well as some textures, which is wrong. These are not the ones that we baked, so I'll just select them and delete. And let's go ahead and drag and drop the banana into the scene. Alright. So over here for the big banana, the material for the big banana, I'll just go ahead and set that to flat. And let's go ahead and import the texture. So I'll click on that arrow and choose this one. All right, so you can see that it's looking already pretty nice and realistic, even without any lights going on in the scene. Okay, actually we have a couple of lights over here, so I'll delete them anyway. Back in the material, let's choose the color and set it to white, so that it displays the actual color. And that should be it. We don't have to do anything much other than that. We'll do the same for the small bananas as well. So we'll click on the other one and choose that to flat, and I'll call this as banana small. Okay, so make sure the color is white again, and click on the arrow and new texture, and we'll select this one. So you can see that it's looking very nice, in fact, and everything's looking pretty natural and evenly lit. So we can go ahead another step and add in reflections. So how do we do that? So we can go ahead and duplicate this banana, and what we can do now is we'll make another material, and we'll call this shine, and I'll assign the shine to the duplicate. Actually, let me just call this shine. So I've assigned the shine to these two objects under the shine banana. And what we can do is we can go ahead and choose physically based. And before we do anything, let me go ahead and add in light. So I'll just scroll down and add a point light. And what we can do is we can try and match the lighting setup that we had in Cinema 4D. So that should be pretty fine. Now let's go back into the shine material and choose the color to be black, so that we can only see the reflection now. Can change the roughness. And what I'll be doing is I have a normal map that was exported from Quixel Megascan. So I'll just go ahead and import that. And what we can do next is over here in the blend mode, what we can do is we can change this to, I think, add or screen should do fine. Alright, so that's pretty much it. The reflections do certainly give it a bit more realistic feel with the lights in the scene. So I hope you found the tutorial helpful, and be sure to check out my Patreon page and consider supporting. Anyway, thank you to all my patrons who have stuck with me so far and for the support. Be sure to share this video with your fellow AR creators so that you can help them make better and realistic looking materials. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.